This week in U.S. immigration news, we are going to cover fair and humane public charge rule, record number of migrant deaths at border, deported veterans face uncertain futures, House Democrats call for $50 million for bust migrants, Biden administration to remove public charge immigration hurdles, uniting for Ukraine. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has issued a final rule in the Federal Register which provides clarity for non-citizens on how DHS will administer the public charge ground of inadmissibility. The Biden administration has restored the understanding of a public charge that was in place for decades until the Trump administration began to consider supplemental public health benefits and nutritional assistance as part of the public charge inadmissibility determination. DHS will no longer consider certain non-cash benefits such as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program or other nutrition programs, Children's Health Insurance Program, Medicaid, housing benefits, benefits related to immunizations or testing for diseases, or other supplemental or special purpose benefits. There has been a record number of migrants that have died crossing the U.S.-Mexico border, with nearly 750 reported deaths this fiscal year with 1 month left to go. Last year there were 200 people that died while crossing. The figures do not capture all of the deaths due to other state and local agencies recovering bodies without Border Patrol involvement, meaning the overall number of deaths is likely higher. Migrant advocates say along with the dangerous terrain and heat exposure, many are forced to take risky paths to reach the U.S. due to Title 42. The Biden administration implemented an initiative over a year ago to help deported veterans access certain benefits, assist eligible service members to apply for U.S. citizenship, and allow those who have already been deported to come back to the country. Many of the vets who were deported were once green card holders when they served but later were convicted of crimes that resulted in deportation. Immigration lawyers have said once the deported vets are brought back to the U.S., the options available for them to permanently stay in the country are narrow. Those who have been allowed back on humanitarian parole are unsure of how long their protections will last.
If you are new to our channel, welcome and please subscribe to stay in the loop. We offer free 15-minute consultations if your case is qualified so we can point you in the right direction. Stay tuned for the secret code later in the show.
Last week, House Democrats called on Congress to provide $50 million in funding to be used towards assistance for the migrants being bused to D.C., New York, and Chicago from Texas and Arizona. Reps Jesus Garcia, Adriano Espaillat and District of Columbia Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton led a letter along with 23 Democrats calling on the Homeland Security Appropriations Subcommittee to provide additional funds to the 2023 budget for the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Emergency Food and Shelter Program. The lawmakers called for more funding for EFSP due to the increased need for food and shelter in the cities receiving bused migrants from Arizona and Texas. The Biden administration has finalized a rule which will remove hurdles to immigration for those likely to become dependent on certain public benefits while trying to be granted a visa or become a permanent U.S. resident. This change restores the historical understanding of a public charge prior to it being broadened during the Trump administration in 2019. DHS will no longer label a non-citizen as a public charge if they receive certain non-cash benefits. Even with the new rule changes which will take effect December 23, a non-citizen can still be denied admission to the U.S. or lawful permanent residence if they are unable to prove they are self-sufficient, meaning unlikely to become primarily dependent on the government for survival. Over half of the applications filed by Americans offering to sponsor Ukrainians fleeing the Russian invasion have come from households in New York, Illinois, California, Florida, and Washington state. Since April 25 there were 123,962 people in the U.S. that applied to financially support Ukrainian refugees through a private sponsorship program. The Uniting for Ukraine program implemented by the Biden administration has received a collective 46,265 requests to sponsor Ukrainians by people in New York, Illinois, and California. The Uniting for Ukraine program has seen a concentration of sponsorship requests in certain states and cities corresponding with the geographic composition of the Ukrainian American population in those areas.
Friends, show us some love and smash the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have an immigration problem or need a second opinion because you cannot get a hold of your own lawyer, schedule a meeting with our team. Share information with our CARES team and they will help you get scheduled with our legal team. Now here's a secret code to unlock the free 15 minutes.